Rashad, why you
Anyway,
didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother. Trump,
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
I want to go to the suspect. We'll go to the suspect right now with the details about him and stuff like that. The information's been out all day, but since the first time that we had the information, thanks to SSB said, he's been arrested. His father turned him in and stuff like that. This is what we know about him since then. I think the overall kind of bullet points are he was MAGA, Republican, and he was a Nick Fuentes guy. And what else? What else do we know about the suspect? That's it. That's all I knew. And then he wanted to talk himself off the ledge, when his dad confronted him, and he eventually admitted that it was him. And his dad called up a pastor, and the pastor convinced him to turn himself in and keep living. Weird stuff. But what we know about the suspect, Tyler Robinson. Washington, Utah is crazy too. That's a crazy city. Growing up in a Utah suburb, Tyler Robinson seemed to have a promising path. He had a close-knit family, scored well on standardized tests, and earned a 4.0 GPA, according to social media posts. This was, by the way, written by Casey Tolan, Scott Glover, Kurt Devine, Jeff Winter, Isabel Chapman, Alyssa Gordon, and John Miller. Shout out to all of them. After graduating high school in 2021, he filmed a video proudly reciting a letter from the Utah State University, offering him a 4-year merit scholarship. But Robinson left school after just a semester, taking a leave of absence and never returning. Ooh. Now authorities are working to understand what happened in the intervening years that led to Robinson to the rooftop where he allegedly conservative activist Charlie Kirk this week. The brazen unaliving, the latest string of attempted and successful AAs of political leaders in recent years has led to anguish of recriminations across America's political spectrum. While police are still investigating the unaliving, authorities have pointed to what they describe as an anti-fascist message engraved on the bullet casings and a rifle found near the unaliving, the fatal shooting, the fatal as potential evidence of a political motive. One bullet. So I was talking to Phil Lewis, by the way. Good intervention. I was talking to Phil Lewis, and I was telling him, because he was like, yeah, I was thinking about streaming. People telling me I should get on this or that. I was on TikTok for a while, but I got banned. I said, what? You were saying all the words? He said, yeah. I was like, yeah, bro, you can't do that. I was just telling him all the words I was saying. He's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. But that's literally how you gotta even be on here, bro. So it's weird to do it every other word in a story like this, but it just is what it is. Have become more and I asked him to come on the stream, and he kind of was just he wasn't really acknowledging it, because I think he don't really like censoring himself for the sake of the algorithm and social media rules. Have become more political in recent years, and in particular had lashed out at Kirk at a recent dinner, Cox said. But the messages on the casings also included a mix of memes and allusions to video games, suggesting a deep immersion and irony soaked in an online world where meanings can be difficult to precisely decipher. Those messages included a series of arrows representing the controls used to carry out on the attack of the video game Helldivers 2, and lyrics of a popular Italian song linked to anti-fascists, but also popularized more in another game, Far Cry 6, and a Netflix series. Hold on, where we at? Shout out Phil Lewis for sure. My brother. People who knew Robinson described differing memories of his political leanings. An electrician who worked with Robinson on the job just a few weeks ago asked not to be named, like many others who spoke out about Robinson due to the sensitivity of the situation, described his colleague as a shy presence who, quote unquote, wasn't talkative unless he was talked to. Robinson, quote unquote, didn't really talk political unless someone brought it up, the electrician said. He wasn't too fond of Trump or Kirk. Oh, so they said, but he was wearing the MAGA hats. There it is. But several years ago in high school, Robinson, like his family, was politically conservative and supported President Donald Trump ahead of the 2020 election. One of Robinson's former classmates told CNN, when I knew him and his family, they were all diehard Trump, said the former classmate. When this happened, I was like, I don't know what changed. Voter registration shows that Robinson is currently registered to vote unaffiliated with any party, although he never casted a ballot. The Washington Clerk county clerk said in a statement. The former classmate described Robinson as a quote-unquote very, very big into gaming and interested in video game design. Robinson and his friends would quote-unquote spend their lunches playing card games and all that kind of stuff. Robinson was quote-unquote quiet all the time and quote-unquote a little goofy, the classmate said, adding that he didn't remember him making any concerning statements or getting into trouble. Quote-unquote, he was fun to be around, fun to talk to. He was just kind of shy and didn't really open up often. I ain't gonna lie, this plate look good. What is this? Where is this? This look like an IHOP plate, but the restaurant don't look like IHOP. The restaurant looks like a Zaxby's, but the IHOP plate. See, come on, man. I'm a real food connoisseur. Now, people who knew Robinson are struggling to reconcile their image with him with the allegations laid out by the police after a 33-hour manhunt by flanks of federal and local officials and pleas to the public for assistance. A law enforcement official told CNN it was Robinson's family that helped arrange his capture after his father recognized him in the photos released by the FBI. Robinson so far has not spoken to investigators, leaving authorities to continue their work to understanding the roots of the unaliving, bullet casings, and All right, hold on. I'm going to scroll down. We're going to scroll down. I ain't going to read the full thing because this is all the things that I was kind of saying earlier. And that was what they had. Wow, here's a scene right here. And I'm gonna leave it at that just because we've already kind of gave the bullet points and that's what the rest was. But I'm gonna end it right there. And of course, this will be covered by a gazillion people over the next couple weeks.
Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.